What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle, and today we got a big patch for Township. They've reworked a little bit of it, and I got this patch last night. Actually, it hit my phone last night when I was laying down for bed. I looked at it briefly. I thought, all right, I'll deal with it in the morning. I got up this morning. I thought about doing a video, and then I thought, I'll wait and see how it goes. And I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit and spent some time with it. And then I tried to record one earlier, and I got a little opinionated about things, and I had to redo this. So this is video attempt number 2. Anyway, the important thing is I want to run through the changelog for this, and we'll go through all the changes that they've made and take a look at it. And then hopefully I won't get too opinionated and have to restart the video again. But they did change this. There is a development roadmap that pops up. So if you expand this, it shows that we have Township Update 1 out now, and they call it a minor update, but it's pretty big changes. Township Update 2 is a minor update coming, and then they are looking at 2 more expansions. And they're talking about one of the expansions is already in development. So that's cool. There's a lot of, I think I knew we were getting more expansions, but I don't know. I guess these go to the same button. I don't know why you don't just create one, but whatever. So anyway, we've had a couple of changes in here today. Okay, let's dive into the full deal. So they've overhauled the UI for Township. Basically, a lot has changed in this, and I would argue that this is the way things should have been from the very beginning. And I don't know how they tested everything and got to this point. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same thing because some of the shortcomings were pretty glaring. So the first thing they've done is this: you used to have to mouse over population to find out what your dead storage was, all the dead people and where they were going. They've moved that out. So part of the UI overhaul is to get that over to here. What else did they do? They've changed this to say tax rate, which makes sense. When I was talking about did a video about ideas I had for how we could do some better things in Township or add some fun things to it. And I totally forgot that towns have taxes, and that's basically what you're doing is levying a tax on these people, these poor peasants. But they've changed that a little bit. This starts at 0 until you actually get into the town. So I think before it kind of started generating money early. Now it doesn't really generate until later. Of course, I haven't really advanced this town very far either. So let's see. If you go down into this list, they've now moved all the biomes down into a list format here instead of up the top. And if you mouse over something in the town view, it shows you like basic shelters. I now have, if I mouse over this, it says I have 1 basic shelter in the grasslands and 55 in the forest, which totally obvious. Should have done this from the beginning. Warehouses, I only have 20 in the grasslands. If I switch over to the build menu, this tells me where I can build in which biomes, which is very awesome because like gardens are only available in certain spots, schools or farmland, like these all are only available in certain places. So if you mouse over it, it actually tells you where you can build at. So if you know you can build it in the grasslands and think, well, I'm out of room here, where can I build it somewhere else? You can actually just go mouse over it and see where it's going to be. They've also added these little filters here. So you can say, where can I put bars in? So it's going to say bars come from the smithy, and here's where I can build those. So all good changes. And, same thing with the ore, excuse me, tells you where you can get the ore from and what buildings have to be built to get that. So again, great quality of life changes. They've added a 25 option here. I think it was 1, 5, and 10. Now there's a 25. Let's see, because we used to be able to do 1, 5, 10, and 25 on the buying, or one of these got the 25. I don't remember which. I think it's this one. Let's see here. What else did they add? I guess we can go back to the changelog and go browse through here. Biome selection for the town and build menus are now vertically aligned on the left. That's this whole thing here. Town menu has 3 tabs: biomes, town menu. Oh, the town menu has all, which gives some information down here. You can change your god. There's some repercussions for that. And then there's this, and then there's some, well, why would you not just leave this on all? Okay, whatever. I guess it just, variations of both, one or the other. All right. That was kind of pointless, I guess. Let's see here. Build menu has a town resource selector, which we just looked at. Hovering on buildings shows you the things we just looked at. Town information panel displays basic information about your town, which I believe is that thing there. Dead storage now has its own UI. The tooltip with population now depends on this, now shows the skill XP you're going to get for every tick. So they've moved the dead stuff over to here and they've put the XP in there, which is good. That's all good. Let's see here. Resource capping. Now they've made a lot of changes to how much money you can make off of this, and it's more balanced from what I gather. Resource capping. I'm sorry, my bad. I got ahead of myself there. In the managed storage section, they've added a place where you can actually stop or tell this how much you want. If you don't want any clothing, you can come in here and say, I only want 1% clothing. And it will only keep 1% and yeet off everything else that's after the next tick. So you can also still yeet resources off, but you can also limit how much you get. So if you're always going way over and you're trying to get, like, I always ran over on food. If you're trying to get stone or something, you can limit some of the other ones and let the stone build up and just have a little bit more. So that's nice. Let's see, resource capping. When a resource reaches a cap, it will adjust the color of the resource amount. Yeah, that changes. It tells you you're at your cap. And anything above that goes away. It is now possible to change your worship without restarting your town. I don't know that I ever tried this or cared, but when you do, all of your existing worship buildings get destroyed and half your population dies. So if you want to get rid of your population, I don't know if you can do that twice in a row, but if you want to get rid of half your population for some reason and let them regrow, change your god. The trader changes. So this has got a lot of changes and there's a lot to unpack here. So you have to actually build the trader. Let me get my wording right on this, because when I was trying to explain it earlier, I messed it all up. So there's now a maximum gold limit that can be traded during any visit. So that limit is defined by the amount of trading posts you have constructed in your town. So, in the old days, you used to just create one trader. In the new days, you have to create multiple traders so you can get more money out the more you create. Each trading post will increase the limit by 500,000 per building, up to a maximum of 100 million per visit. Every time the trader arrives in your town, it will increase the GP limit. There is no maximum threshold for the limit. Now, how this pertains to the trading post limit, I still don't quite get yet, because I thought I had it and I don't think I do. The gold limit only affects trading resources from the township to your bank, not from bank to township. So once you've built the trader, he shows up, and once he shows up, you start off, I think you start off with 500,000. So you can only trade out 500,000 gold to begin with. The next time he comes around, you can trade out 1 million, and then every 500,000 it goes up. Now, how that compares to having multiple traders, I still don't quite get yet. But that is they've definitely capped how much money you can get out of this. New item trading requirements, and you can see this right here. You have to locate 10,000 items, 10,000 of an item. Like, I don't have 10,000 of beef or chicken located yet, so I can't get beef or chicken out of it until I find 10,000 of it. Traders not to be bypassed for the main game, blah, blah, blah. The UI of the trader will display items that cannot be traded, as well as the remaining quantity required to be in trading. So if I click over here, I need 6,667 beef to actually trade out of this and get more of it. Now, some of these things I've already found enough, so I'm good, but I don't know, whatever. I don't particularly care about that. I'll leave that soapbox for now. Tax rate changes. Base tax rate when starting a town is now 0. Town hall is reworked. It no longer provides building cost reductions, so that kind of sucks. Tax rate is capped at 80%, and each town hall provides 0.5% tax rate and minus 0.5% happiness. So the more town halls you have, the more money you make, the less happy they are. Which I guess that kind of balances out, it definitely balances it out to make it more probably what things should have been to begin with. Adjusted builder work counts. The third, and I still don't quite get this one yet. The third and fourth upgrades of any building now have increased worker counts. These buildings now have the same resource per worker generation as the amount of the second upgrade. Okay, cool, whatever. The new worker count allows you to assign citizens to these buildings to return to the original resource generation values. When all worker slots are filled, it works out to be a tiny buff in resources, so it's good. Get a little buff there. I don't know. Added times 25 build options. Default trader option is now take resources from. So this, instead of trying to put stuff in, it defaults you to taking stuff out. Awesome change. Citizens who die at the age of 100 will decay instantly, so they don't affect your cemetery. So you theoretically need less cemeteries. I'm kind of curious, if you have high health and you can keep everybody going through, can you just go with like 1 or 0 cemeteries? I don't know. Kind of curious. Citizens who are over the age of 70 provide 2 times more gold than under 70s. Worship now has a 5% checkpoint, so they've added a little checkpoint in there. Cool. Ragnar worship, they changed a little bit. Trader now trades raw dragon hide instead of the final product. I like this change. If for nothing else, I never knew which one to take. Like, I was already past all the gear that I had. It would have been cool, I suppose, for early game gear, like if you're trying to build up to it, but I mean, you can get crafting up pretty easily. I don't think it's that difficult. And the stuff you could get, like fully upgraded crafting gear, I wasn't real thrilled with that. So getting Dragonite out, it's fine. Increase the town hall build cost by 4. It got a lot more expensive. Trading post is a lot more expensive. The libraries got buffed. They capped the township food usage at minus 80%. That was 100%, so you just never had to feed them. So town and biome selections are no longer independent, meaning if you select water here and click build, it's going to stay on water. Awesome. That should have been that way from the beginning. And that was one I never really considered. It was always annoying, but I never really gave much attention to it. One thing I would love to see, I'll jump on a soapbox for just a brief moment. I think the town and build menu ought to be the same damn tab. This is annoying to have to go back and forth. I don't see why you can't take this section here and this little button. Like you've got some information and a couple of buttons. I don't see why you can't make these little cards a little bit bigger, put the information on here, or cut them in half, and here's your build and here's your upgrade. Like, you don't need, if you doubled this and put all this as basic shelter and add all the controls on here, just make them big tiles. Fine, cool. I hate switching between these two. I think it sucks, and that's one of my bigger complaints with Township now, is that this still remains that way. Anyway, back to the changelog, because we're going to get tired of hearing me bitch about things. Let's see. We made it down to here, new additions. They changed the sailor's top. It used to be a minus 3%. This was if you were going to go fishing, it would, and you had a chance to find special items. This would remove 3% of that chance to find special items. So if you were trying to just get fish and not get special crap, you put this on. Well, they've buffed it now to minus 8%. Increased chance to locate stardust here and there. That's cool, whatever. This one here is the one that I'll come back to this one. So some of the capes changed price. They actually made them, they don't sell for as much money as they used to. Some of the synergies got changed a little bit. The sleep synergy, or the Minotaur Siren, is now 5 instead of 15. Centaur Siren is 5 instead of 10. This amulet, which I've never seen yet, is changed a little bit. And like I said, these skill capes changed. They fixed some bugs. They did some other cool stuff. Awesome. The thing that really bummed me out this morning was this increased bank space from Rosania Constellation has been buffed from 10 per upgrade, or buffed to 10 per upgrade, up from 1. So in astrology, you go here, this right here used to be 5 bank slots. It's now 50. And I should think this is an awesome change, but I'm kind of bummed out about it. My whole grand plan, and I was excited to gear up and do it, was for my hardcore character. I don't need that here. I can buy all the bank slots I want, but on my hardcore character, Taking this 5 into account, if this was still 5, and I now have 45 extra bank slots, my goal was to go into agility. We have the new agility pillar here where you can get 50 bank spaces. I had motivation to go get this, get the money, get the divinite bars and the carrion logs to collect all this and to level up to that. I was going to try to get to that, get those 50 spots. I was going to try to work in township tasks over to the one here that gets you 80 bank slots. And I was also kind of stoked to go in and beat the ancient sanctuary so that I could open up this number 5 gear slot. Well, now that I have 45 more spots, I'm kind of just, I'm not really interested in unlocking any of that anymore. And it kind of bummed me out because now I don't feel like doing the rest of that stuff, and I'm just going to move on and do something else, I think. So it's a good change. It's positive, I think, but it's a little disappointing for probably a stupid reason, but I don't know. So we've gone on for a while, and this is where I would probably start ranting. I do have one thing that I will rant about just a little bit. I have some complaints about things people have said, and I have some complaints about the way this thing works and some ideas on how to change some of this. So one of the things that people, I see, there's probably 3 different camps about Township. People love it, people hate it and think it doesn't belong in the game, and people in the middle that just kind of, whatever, and they don't care. The people that love it loved it because it made tons of money. The people that don't like it in the game, one of the complaints is that this is not like anything else in the game. And I would beg to differ with that. If you look right down here under minigames, there's the Golden Raid. If you play this Golden Raid, it's kind of sort of the way Township works. It doesn't move unless you move it. You can start the raid and stop the raid anytime you want, but it doesn't do anything in the background. You have to actually go start it. I believe even if you log out, it just quits. I don't think it works offline. I think you have to be sitting at it. So the idea of Township not operating like anything else in this game, I think is not exactly the way to view that, because the Golden Raid is pretty much Township in a raid format. Now, I am quickly coming under the opinion that Township does not belong in the game or needs changed significantly. I had a video out where I had some I thought was cool ideas to improve this, put some disasters in it, do some cool things like that. I have 2 suggestions or 2 thoughts that could instantly fix this and take very little coding to do. One of them is already partially implemented. It's already halfway there. And the other one is just so, and they're kind of sort of the same, but if we wanted to say fix Township so that it wasn't, rebalancing it and changing the UI and all that stuff's great. I'm talking about how can you make Township either go away or feel like it's part of the game. One way to do that is to just take this whole thing right here and move it right down here under Golden Map Raid. So just make Township a minigame. Take it out. You can leave the level requirements or whatever, or change these to be some other thing than levels. And in essence, you'd be removing the, you'd still have the skill cape for completion and stuff like that. This would still be a completion skill. It would just be out in the minigame section and not up here, and not necessarily count towards, say, the capes and all that stuff. It already does not count towards the cape of completion, and I think it does maybe count for the superior cape of completion. But if I go look at one of my skill capes in here, if I go into, where do I have one? I found one earlier when I was yelling about this. Where's it at? Do I have one over here? If I go to maximum skill cape, this one here says requires level 99 in all skills except Township to equip. So they've already removed it from the maximum skill cape. Why not just remove it from this completely and slide it right on down here to the minigame? That puts it out of sight, out of mind. You can still have the Township cape. You can still do all the wonderful things with it, but just disconnect it, take it out of the superior version of this, and take it out of the completion cape, or maybe put it in the completion cape. I don't care. There's no mastery pool to this, so it's not necessarily going to gain the mastery pool stuff you get from the capes of completion. Like this thing would give it mastery stuff. If you were to, I don't know, yank it down and throw it down here, it would take it right out of the game. And then all the people that hate it could just ignore it. The people that love it could still play it and get to level 120, use it for money, resources. It wouldn't have to be anything just taken out of this pool and put right down here. The other option I have is a little simpler version of it. You can leave it in here. You can leave it for completion. Again, like I said, it's already disconnected from the maximum skill cape. Why don't I just take this thing and take it off completion completely? Let it go to 120, have the skill capes for it, have maybe a superior skill cape, or I don't care, whatever, but disconnect it. One of my big complaints right now is that I have to go up 13 levels to get this thing to use the superior max skill cape that I could otherwise use right now. And I guarantee you this township skill is going to sit here for a while until I either A, get interested in trying to do and figure all this out, or B, go on Reddit when somebody has a new Excel sheet that tells me what the max XP is. And when I get 120 in this, I'm probably never going to touch this skill again. So it would be more beneficial to put it into a mini game or disconnect it some way so that people that just don't want anything to do with it can ignore it. And I hate to say that because this is a cool skill. It's just not anything I keep wanting to come back to. And having to restart the town twice again today and go through all the tasks and then try to figure out what buildings need to go where and get the trader set up. And now I got to figure out how to keep people healthy, alive, max XP, get it done. And then I can ignore it once I hit 120 on both accounts. And I don't think that's a good skill. All these other skills make you come back to them for some reason, whether you need trees to redo agility stuff, or you need potions, or hell, even crafting's good now. And I used to hate crafting because it used to just be these four here, but now they've added all the bags in here, which have tons of utility. The urns have a lot of utility. Of course, now the hardwood armors is what it is. This one slides right over here, but the bags alone make crafting worth it now. And you come back to farming all the time and fletching. You know what I mean? Like you come back to these things at some point. Township has nothing going for it. There's no reason to use it. You can make money on it. You can get resources out of it, but you can do all those things with much more efficiency somewhere else. And I'll get off that soapbox. That will do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.